Initial 911 call came in at 10:57 p.m. on the 11th of December, 2020.
911, what's your emergency? I don't know. I don't know if it's an emergency, but could you please send someone? Do you need the police? Or is this a medical emergency? Could you send someone? Could you send an officer out? I don't know, it might just be some kids messing around or something, but... Hello? Yeah. I would feel better if someone came out to check. What's your address, ma'am? It's 1056. And what is your name? It's Aaron Feller. Okay, Aaron, I have officers on the way. What's going on? Well, I was calling my dog in from the backyard, and she was growling out at something out there. I couldn't see what, though. I finally got her to come inside, and the second I closed the door and locked it, something smacked into the glass window. Not hard enough to break it, but was hard enough to rattle the door. What time was this? About 5 minutes ago. Were you able to see anyone? No, there's blinds on my back door, and they were down. But I heard the doorknob jiggling a few times before I called you. Hey, calm down. It's fine, Ginger. I yelled that I was calling the police, and the noises stopped. But like I said, it could be some kids, but I don't know. Okay, and have you heard any other noises since then? No, just the door. But my dog's still growling. Okay, I have an officer en route to you. And are there any doors and windows locked? Aaron, are the doors and windows locked? Yes, they're locked. Alright. An officer should be out to you shortly. Stay inside. Keep the doors locked until the officer arrives, okay? Okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
Officer Collier was dispatched to the location. He saw no signs of any persons around the property. He did note that the dog was still anxious and crawling at the back door. He advised Mrs. Feller to keep her doors locked and call if she sees anyone or sees anything else. 911 call came in at 1:27 a.m. on the 12th of December, 2020.
911, what's your emergency? It's me again. Can you send an officer back out, please? Is this for 1056? Yes. Someone was just looking in through my front window. Can you just send someone? I have an officer en route to you. You said you saw someone looking through your windows? Yes. I was in bed, but Ginger, my dog, ran to the front door, growling. I pulled up the blinds and I didn't see anything at first. Then I saw a face pop up, but just the top of their head and eyes, like they were playing Peekaboo or something. I screamed and Ginger started barking, going nuts, and the person popped down out of view again. How long ago was this? A few minutes ago. They popped up again, just before I called you, but they went down. But they went back, down under the window. I'm in a bedroom now. Did you recognize the person, ma'am? No, I only saw their eyes and the top of their head. But they looked, I don't know, like a mime or something. A mime, ma'am? Yes, like makeup on their face and head. It was really disturbing. Okay, I want you to stay on the line with me until the officers arrive. Just stay in your room until you hear them. Okay? Okay. Okay. Does your bedroom door have a lock? Yes, it's locked. Didn't hear anything.
Dispatch stayed on the line with Mrs. Feller until officers arrived. Officers arrived and announced themselves. 11 minutes later, the call was terminated. Officers Copeland and Laurie arrived on scene to find Aaron Feller in great distress. Mrs. Feller claimed to have seen a mime at her door. Officers noted that Mrs. Feller did not seem to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Mrs. Feller seemed anxious but lucid. Mrs. Feller pointed out to the officers where she had seen the suspect peeping through the window. Glass had no visible marks on it other than a smear of white paint. Officers were able to see two impressions in the dirt just underneath the windowsill, outside of the laundry room. Officers stated the impressions looked as if someone had been standing barefoot on the tips of their toes. Officers checked the area and the field surrounding the house and found a trail of footprints leading away from the home to the woods behind Mrs. Feller's home. When followed, the footprints seemed to be erratic and moving around in a zigzag pattern. The prints stopped abruptly at a large tree, but there were no signs of any persons in the tree. The footprints looked to be made by someone who was barefoot and walking solely on their toes. Officers checked the woods, but found nothing of note. Officers spoke with the closest neighbors, a half a mile down the road. The neighbors stated they hadn't seen or heard anything out of the ordinary. Officers reminded Mrs. Feller to keep her doors locked and advised her to call back if the person or persons returned. 911 call came in at 3:41 a.m. on the 12th of December, 2020.
911, what's your emergency? I need the cops now. This is for 1056. Yes, I just saw the person looking at my bedroom window again. I was asleep and I heard tapping on my window. When I looked up, the face was pressed against the glass. How long before the police get here? Okay. I have officers on route to you now. Mrs. Feller, you can lock yourself in your bedroom. No. It was still tapping on the window when I left. It keeps smiling at me. I'm upstairs in my office. It has a lock. Ginger, please calm down, please. Ginger, go. Okay, Aaron. It was smiling at me. Like mouthing words or something, but I don't know what. It didn't have eyelids. Okay, Aaron. Just stay calm. Officers are not far from you. I don't understand why. Aaron, are you there? I heard something. I think it's inside the house. You can stay quiet if you need to. I'm still on the line. It sounds like... Oh my god! Ginger, come here. Are you okay? Can you tell me what's happening? Ginger, please calm down. Ginger. Aaron, downstairs bathroom. Where are the police? They're 4 minutes out, Aaron. They're doing their best to get to you as fast as they can. Just try to remain calm. You're doing great. He got inside the fucking wind. God. And did you say the person was inside your wind? Can you clarify what you mean? Like the fucking wind. The wind where the heat comes out. I heard something moving in there. I bent down to flip open the wind and saw that white face staring out. How big are your vents, Aaron? The standard size, I don't know. 6 inches or so. Not big enough for a person to crawl through. But they did. Okay, take deep breaths. Officers are less than 2 minutes out. Oh my god. Why is it taking so long? Just keep the doors locked and think. I hear it moving around in the wings. Tapping on it. It's okay, remain quiet. I'm here. Do you have anything to use as a weapon? I have a crowbar. Oh god! It's poking its fingers through. Oh god! You don't have to run anymore. Aaron, is that you? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Officers McCreary and Pape arrived on scene approximately 56 seconds later. The front door was open prior to their arrival, and there were obvious signs of a struggle throughout the home. Officers called out to Mrs. Feller, but did not get a response. Officer Pape found the dog in the downstairs laundry room, staring into the air vent and whimpering. The dog had obvious cuts and scrapes along its body and snout from attempting to enter the air vent. Traces of white makeup were found on most of the windows in the home, on the inside of the glass. After a thorough investigation, officers collected blood and hair samples inside 4 of the vents throughout the home, along with fingernails that were embedded in one of the crates. More traces of white paint were found inside all of the vents in the home. Hair samples matched the hair length and color of Mrs. Feller. It is noted that all of the vents in the home were measured at 6 to 10 inches, much too small for a person to move through or even fit inside. To date, Mrs. Feller is still missing, and there's a reward for any information leading to her whereabouts.